morning, guys.
Hello and welcome back.
We're just on our way to Sydney. We're heading there to take a ferry, actually, over to Newfoundland.
We just started driving from that last abandoned campground we spent the night at after the beautiful Cabot trail. And we were just cruising along the road, just got started in the day. And there's a mini ferry to get over to English Town here. Apparently it's $7 cash only to get across this little river.
That's so funny. We had no idea that this was a thing. And we were just like pulling up to this place and we're like, what? A ferry? What? And it's this little tiny ferry that goes back and forth across the river. I mean, I guess this isn't a river. What is this? It's like a channel? An ocean channel? I don't really know, but big surprise to us. Nova Scotia, and that's actually the ferry town. So they have two different ferries that go there that head to Newfoundland. So that's actually where we're headed next. We're gonna take a stop in Sydney and get a couple of errands done, like laundry, that type of thing. And then pretty soon we'll be hitting the ferry. I think it's like a 7-hour ferry to the closest port there in Newfoundland. So it'll be quite the ferry ride, and yeah, pretty excited about it.
Hello from Sydney, Nova Scotia, everybody. So, we thought it'd be all fun and games and we were going to be catching the ferry coming up here. Turns out, when we looked, they actually have openings for cars to show up and book that day, basically. But RVs, you should book in advance in summer. We should have known better. But we had looked under the car spot where they weren't booked up in advance. So we have to kill a few days now before we can actually take the ferry. And it looks like we'll be taking a midnight ferry. We'll get to be on the ferry for a sunrise approaching Newfoundland, so that should be pretty sweet if you want to put a positive spin on it, which I have been, but whew. Kill a few days and then a midnight ferry. That'll be fun. But we got a place to go to. Louisbourg. It's a military fort from the 1700s. It's super cool. A whole bunch of French and British occupation there and wars back and forth. So we'll take you to that national historic site and we'll be seeing you in the morning, guys.
Good morning, guys. So we're here. I don't know the name of the lighthouse, do you?
I call it the Louisbourg Lighthouse, but I'm not too sure.
I think that's actually what it is, the Louisbourg Lighthouse. Apparently the first lighthouse built in Canada and the second built in North America. How crazy is that?
That's super cool, actually, yeah.
Like, what?
Not the one standing here, I guess.
Well, it was rebuilt, but there's some ruins, I think, of the first one that was built.
Yeah.
So that's, like, insanely cool. It's actually just across from the Louisbourg Fortress, so we're gonna head there right now. Actually, we spent the night here at the lighthouse and we're gonna cross the little channel to the fortress, and we'll tell you more about that later. But yeah, this place was a super cool boondocking spot. We've got like huge cliffs and the Atlantic Ocean behind us and just like surrounding us. The lighthouse is like right over there in our view. It's a pretty cool spot.
Yeah, super awesome and historical. I mean, this dates back to the early 1700s. I think this was first kind of settled by the British and the French coming over, let alone the history of Louisbourg, and it talks about the lighthouse being destroyed and all the cannon fire. So we'll take you along today, guys, show you some of the historical spots here, and then we have the ferry today too.
Yeah, we booked our ferry for 5:45 today, so we have to be there 2 hours early, and yeah, we're gonna be on the ferry for 7 hours, so we get to Newfoundland like 1:30 a.m.
Yeah, in the morning. We thought we were leaving tomorrow at midnight or something originally though, so honestly a day earlier and leaving at 5:45, so we'll catch a beautiful sunset on the ocean and then just get in at a later bedtime.
Maybe it'll be a beautiful sunset, maybe it'll be this foggy. So.
Anyway, enough jibber jabber. Let's hit the road, guys.
The actual fortress is about a 5-minute drive from here, so we're taking a shuttle bus, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so we just took the shuttle here. When you first get off the bus, there was a little lady that greeted us, gave us a bit of history about the fishermen in the area and how the French were using this in the early 1700s to send cod back to France. And that's kind of what the war was always over, was the resources. So we got a little bit of cool history off the bus, and now we're for an open tour of this whole town here. It's super cool. They have over 50 buildings recreated, so a whole lot to see and a whole lot to check out. And then we still got to catch that ferry in a few hours as well. So busy day, guys.
Yeah, so this place was originally built in like the early 1700s and taken by the British 2 times, I think. So a lot of stuff got destroyed, but Parks Canada has done like a really good job restoring this whole area. And apparently it's one of the biggest restore projects that they have in all of Canada. So it looks pretty big. It's like a whole reconstructed town. All the employees are like dressed up in what they used to wear. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, really cool. So we're walking through the guardhouse and the military chapel here right now. And this place is so neat. It's so cool how they recreated it, and the chapel has all the stuff. You can see how fancy they've made it here. What a cool spot. We tried to do a guided tour. There's certain motor tours where they drive you around, but no luck, sadly. Still super awesome.
After 1 month of doing guard duty, I receive £1.50. As I said before, I can buy one leather shoe every month with that money. Alternatively, with £1.50, you can also buy a cheap bottle of wine or an entire barrel of rum. And as you can imagine, most of the soldiers were walking around a little drunkenly, very barefoot. The form was incredibly cheap.
And that's a wrap for Louisbourg, guys. That was a super cool little attraction though. We hadn't even heard about it. We just Googled it, and one of the reviews said, if you're even thinking about going, just go and do it. And I can definitely second that, because that was amazing seeing all that historical stuff and the significance it had back in the 1700s.
Yeah. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I don't know much about Canadian history as it is, so like just learning about all that was pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, and the fact that Parks Canada actually hires people to kind of take you for tours. They have all sorts of people who are being the blacksmiths, the bakers, and different little stations set up, and they're all themed as if they were in 1745, I believe it was. So they show you, like, we saw musket firings and stuff again, so it's really cool to get a little walk through history instead of just reading about it on plaques. You kind of take it in a bit more, so really enjoyed that. Whew, windy, but let's get out of here and let's go.
Alright guys, so it's time for us to get to the ferry now. Our ferry leaves at 5:45 and we're supposed to be there 2 hours early to check in and get everything situated, which is probably a good thing because we've got to make some food before we get on the ferry and get Kat ready, because Kat's going to stay in the RV for the 7-hour ferry. You have the choice of either, well, I don't even know if you have a choice for cats, but for pets, you can either leave them in your vehicle or have them in a crate, like on the ferry. Service. Yeah, but they can't be on the ferry with you, and you can't come to the vehicle once you leave the vehicle. She's gonna have full reign of the RV for 7 hours. Alright, so see you at the ferry.
The tag on the tank, and then make sure one of them is visible for the crew members.
Oh, okay.
Tell them we had this little talk, okay?
Perfect, sounds good.
Alright, boarding should come anytime after 4. Alright, you're good to go.
Thanks, digger.
Hey.
So, we have arrived at the ferry, checked in, and it is cooking hot out. So we have the generator running for some AC in the background. Keep it cool for little kitty. We've got sandwiches on the way, and we are putting up these little things they give you. You gotta turn off your propane when you travel on boats, and they give you this to zap strap it up so that way it proves you actually turned it off and you remember to do it. So we're gonna wrap that up. We should be boarding the ferry fairly soon here. Vehicles are arriving and we're getting ready to roll.
Alright guys, we're boarding our ferry.
Woo! We found land. Farthest province in Canada. Wow.
So St. John's is on the other side of Newfoundland than the port that we're going to. So once we get there, we're literally across Canada.
Crazy. We're really far over. We come a long way. We're boarding the ferry here and we are at a bit over 8,500 kilometers. And we're gonna have 900 at least to St. John. plus all the detouring and trips we make out and about in the national parks in Newfoundland. So I called her pretty close to 10,000, guys, and we're getting there. But let's get upstairs in that ferry, I reckon. Get the cat ready quick.
Yeah, pull in the mirrors because everyone's trying to walk by them.
Oh.
Take good care of the RV, okay? Bye-bye.
Bye, kitty.
Luke, how excited are you to be on a ferry?
This fun.
That's pretty exciting.
So cool here. This is a huge ferry. Love it. Goodbye, mainland Canada. The last bit of northern Nova Scotia that we're gonna see of mainland Canada here for the next 2 weeks. We have return tickets booked through this same ferry terminal back in 2 weeks' time, so we gotta start heading back west at that point.
Alright guys, so we're settled in on the ferry here. We're actually kind of hungry. We haven't had much to eat today because we've been so freaking busy, but we just discovered that there's a buffet on board.
What?
So we're gonna go check out the buffet, probably get something to eat.
Splurge time.
Alrighty, the sun is setting here on the ferry. We've got, how many more hours, Luke?
5?
About 5 more hours on the ferry. Dinner was good. Sun's setting. It's gonna get dark soon.
It's beautiful though. Nice quality ferry. I mean, they have a movie room. They have a lounge with live music. We're pretty well situated for the evening here.
Yep. Hello, hello, hello.
Woo!
What time is it? It's like almost 11.
Is that all it is?
It's 11 o'clock. Everyone on this ship is asleep.
Sound asleep.
Everyone's sleeping in like the restaurant area on like the restaurant sofa.
It's so hot, it's stale in there, there's no air circulation.
Yeah.
So,
And we were hoping that we'd find like electrical outlets so that I'd be able to edit our videos and like do some productive things until 1:30 a.m. But all of the electrical outlets in like the seating area room and like everywhere public is a different type of outlet. It's like a
yeah, it's either dead or like those European ones.
it's like a European outlet, or the ones in the lounge area that everyone's sleeping in are regular outlets, but they don't work.
Rough days on the ferry.
It's not even that bad, but yeah, we're just hanging out outside. It's pitch dark. We're living it up, guys. Pulling in, guys. Pulling into Newfoundland. We've still gotta try and find somewhere to park tonight.
I think we got a spot though. I think we have an Overlander spot, so should be right close to the ferry terminal. Newfoundland. We got some Newfoundland here, guys.
Home sweet home. Oh, look, it's our kitty cat. Hello. She's like, what the hell just happened? Join us next time when we land on the rock and make our way north to Grossmore National Park.